Hello cuties and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're gonna talk about the top 5 childhood fears. Do you remember being scared for your life as a child? Well, I certainly do. And that's why today I'll tell you all about my top 5 childhood fears. And make sure to stay until the end to see my worst childhood fear. It's a fear that most people don't even know about. But before we head into the video, I saw that 89.1% of all my viewers is not subscribed yet. So, if you want to help a brother out, please absolutely demolish that subscribe button. Alright, now that I asked you for a favor, let me tell you about my top 5 childhood fears.
These are my top 5 childhood fears. Number 5. Pine cones.
Alright guys, I know what you're thinking. Pine cones? This guy was afraid of pine cones? Yeah, I was. And I'll tell you why right away. As a child, me and my brother used to play outside in our front garden. And in the front garden we had a pine tree. And obviously a pine tree drops pine cones sometimes. And as a kid I was always afraid that inside of these pine cones insects would hide and then come out. And my brother knew this. So to troll me, he grabbed one of those pine cones and he ran after me while I ran for my life. I cried so loud and asked for help, and then when my dad found out, he was mad at my brother, but he also laughed at the situation. And after that moment as a kid, I never touched a pine cone again.
Number 4. Spiders.
The fear of spiders is a fear that many people have. Actually, the original term is called arachnophobia. Honestly, I do feel like a lot of children are naturally afraid of insects. They're like very small creatures with really much legs. Yeah, I can imagine why children think that's spooky. However, I do feel like this fear has been created inside of me by my grandmother. Because as a kid, I used to see my grandmother hiding and yelling for the spiders. Yelling for help towards my grandfather to take the spider away. As you, as a kid, often copy the behavior of older people or people in your family, I think that's also part of the reason why I was afraid of spiders. But as an adult now, I'm not really afraid of spiders, except tarantulas or tarantulas, I don't know how to pronounce it correctly. Those things are fucking terrifying. I wouldn't mind if they were obliterated from this planet, and I'm sure many of you guys would agree. Yeah, tarantulas are just horrible creatures.
Number 3. The bokkenrijders.
Your first thought upon reading that fear is probably, what even is a bokkenrider or a bakrider? Well, let me tell you right away. The bakrijders are part of the Dutch folklore, and as I'm Dutch myself, obviously I know about it. But the bakrijders were sent out by the devil. They are witches who sit on the back of bucks, and then they fly through the sky to kill people and steal from churches. And in the Netherlands we have a theme park called the Efteling, which is a fantasy theme park. And in this theme park you have a ride called Villa Volta. It's a haunted house. And when you enter this haunted house, there will be a creepy figure who tells you the story about the bokkenrijders or the bakrijders. And this figure will explain to you what the story of the bakrijders is, and this whole attraction or ride revolves around the topic of the bakrijders.
Dit huis, dit vervloekte huis, het is een hel gelijk. Die ene vervloekte avond in de Belgische Kempen. De zon stond laag en we zochten bedden voor de nacht, maar van dorpen was geen spoor.
It's a haunted house that turns and all the mirrors and all the paintings are turning and the whole house is rotating. So it's very trippy. I'll put some camera footage of that on the screen right now. But this story had a really big impact on me as a child. because often when I tried sleeping, I would imagine that these bug riders would fly out to my window and take me with them. This was such a horrible fear to me that I've slept with the lights on of my room for years. And if you want to know more about this topic, I suggest you to Google about it. It's a very interesting topic because it's actually based upon a real story about a gang called the Bug Riders.
Number 2. Burglars.
The fact that this fear is in this video is kinda sad to me. This is because as a kid I have experienced 3 burglaries at my home. And of all 3 I was there when it happened. So the worst one I've experienced is that I was playing on the PlayStation 2 at night and I was thirsty, so I thought, hey, I'm gonna go to the refrigerator and see if there's some cold drinks there. And when I opened the refrigerator I saw no drinks in there, so I decided, alright, I'm gonna head to the garage because in our garage we had cold bottles. And these bottles I wanted to put them back into the refrigerator so I had some cold drinks for gaming night. But when I was walking towards the garage, when I opened the middle door between the kitchen and the garage, I saw a guy standing in front of me and he looked scared as well. And the first thing I did was close the door right away, lock it, because luckily enough that door had a lock on it with a key inside of it. I locked the door and I ran to my father. And when I was at my father, we called the police right away and said, hey, there's a burglar here. And I was so scared. But when the police arrived, this was like 10-15 minutes later. Obviously the thief was already gone. But yeah, he broke the whole garage door open. It was insane. And that was like the most traumatic experience I've had with burglaries. And the other 2 burglaries I've experienced, one was a failed attempt. It was not that scary. I just saw people walking in the garden and they were trying to get inside of the house, but when they saw me, they ran away. And the other experience was kind of wild too. I was just sleeping inside of my bed when I suddenly woke up from a lot of sounds next to the window. It was like sounds of people chopping and mining in the wall. So when I woke up, I knew something was wrong right away. The first thing I did was turn on the light and then I called the police. And obviously when the light turned on, because it was next to my window, the burglars were scared and they must have fled right away. Oh, and by the way, my window was next to a terrace. So when you're standing on the terrace, you are next to the window. That is also why they could access my window that easily. So when the police arrived, we checked the windows and we saw a little hole in the wall. I have no idea why they were chopping in my wall, not just hit the window. But we had quite thick windows, so maybe that was it. But that was horrible as well. Luckily, I've never been hurt physically by any of these 3 break-ins, but they are really, horrible for me as a child.
Number 1. De Plaaggeest.
Yeah, this fear really scared me as a child. And I was not alone. A lot of children in my country could not sleep because of this scary man. In my country, the Netherlands, we had a TV show called Bassie and Adriaan. And this was a fun TV show about a clown and an acrobat that go on adventures together. That was such an amazing show, but there was one detail that haunted me in my sleep. De Plaaggeest. If you would literally translate De Plaaggeest to English, it would be the teasing ghost. And that's a good name for what he is. A teasing ghost. And De Plaaggeest was a villain from the show that wanted to take down the main characters. So he did everything he could to sabotage them. Bassie and Adriaan are the main characters, by the way. And while he was doing these attempts to kill the clown and the acrobat, he was laughing hysterically, really scary. And then he also had really big cheeks. He kind of looked like a hamster. Sounds funny, but yeah, this stuff was really terrifying for me as a kid. There was even a TV interview with the main character of the show, the acrobat, in which the acrobat told the news that a lot of parents come to their show to complain about the scary character and that their kid cannot sleep. But when you keep watching this TV show, you see how in the end the Plaaggeest gets exposed by the Bassie and Adriaan characters, in which they show that he's basically just a prankster that loves trolling people. Well, he certainly was good at trolling because many children could not sleep because of this douchebag. And I was one of them. I fucking hated the Plaaggeest. But yeah, I was one of the kids that was scared of the Plaaggeest as a child. But luckily, I'm not alone. And there you have it, guys, my top 5 childhood fears. Honestly, I'm really curious what your childhood fears or fear is. Please drop it in the comments below. I will reply to every comment and I'm really curious to all of your stories. And I also want to take some time to thank all of you guys. I went from 165 to 290 subscribers since my last long video and I'm really grateful for this, guys. Thank you so much. I'm in quite some hard times right now, so this is really making me happy. Now, if you did enjoy this video, please leave a thumbs up on my video and make sure to subscribe because then you can stay updated with my newest videos. That will be really cool, right? Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure to check out this video on my left. It's a nice one. And I wish you guys a great day. Bye bye!